the SDP candidate Francis Ajala and his running mate Fashiki Oladipo to the ballot for the governorship election, raising to 15 the total number of political parties contesting the election. Apologies for that break in transmission. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has begun the distribution of sensitive electoral materials across the 30 local government areas of Osun State ahead of the August 15, 2026 governorship election. INEC National Commissioner in charge of the Osun State election, Kunle Ajayi, disclosed this today, stating that the distribution is currently taking place at the Central Bank of Nigeria office in Osogbo, the state capital. Ajayi attributed the late arrival of newly printed ballot papers and other materials from Abuja to the recent inclusion of the Social Democratic Party SDP on the ballot for the election. According to him, INEC began the distribution to ensure that all materials reach their designated locations ahead of the poll. Recall that the commission on Wednesday added the SDP candidate Francis Ajala and his running mate Fashiki Oladipo to the ballot for the governorship election, raising to 15 the total number of political parties contesting the election.
In a related development, the Nigerian Police Force has announced a total lockdown of Osun State from midnight today, restricting all movement as security agencies finalize deployment for Saturday's governorship election. Force Public Relations Officer FPRO CSP Ani Iniedu disclosed this today during a briefing at the Osun State Police Command Headquarters, Osogbo, where he gave an update on security deployments across the state's 30 local government areas. Iniedu said air surveillance units, including helicopters and drones, had commenced patrols across the state, alongside a police mobile force PMF unit deployed to each local government area under the command of an assistant commissioner of police serving as squadron commander. Iniedu maintained that the police remained neutral in the election, stating that their constitutional mandate was the protection of life and property. He appealed to parents to prevent their underage children from participating in voting or electoral violence, urging voters to turn out in large numbers, assuring them of adequate security.
As Nigeria prepares for the 2027 general elections, journalists have been urged to prioritize accuracy, verification, and responsible reportage to prevent misinformation, election violence, and unnecessary tension. The call was made by the trio of Ondo State Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Mutiu Agboke, Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command Abimbola Olugbenga, and the former President, Nigeria Union of Journalists (NUJ), Prince Lanre Ogundipe, at an election sensitization lecture organized by the NUJ Tribune Chapel in Ibadan. Staff reporter Adebayo Perofi brings the details.
The program brought together media practitioners and key stakeholders to examine the role of journalism in promoting peaceful elections, combating misinformation, and strengthening democratic institutions. Presenting a paper on combating election misinformation and disinformation, the Resident Electoral Commissioner INEC Ondo State, Dr. Mutiu Agboke, stated that misinformation remains a documented challenge to Nigeria's electoral process, warning that the speed and reach of social media make verification more important than ever. Dr. Agboke recommended sustained fact-checking partnerships, early public awareness campaigns, media and information literacy, accessible verification channels, and rapid response communication by electoral bodies. He also called for stronger collaboration among INEC, journalists, fact-checkers, technology companies, civil society, and citizens to tackle increasingly sophisticated false content, including AI-generated material.
Media and information literacy should become a permanent feature of civic education, taught through schools, university, and community. Because today, AI can do anything. AI will regenerate your wife and tell you that somebody is sleeping with her, and your head will turn. So you have to have this knowledge. as journalists.
Speaking on covering election violence and conflict responsibly, the Oyo State Commissioner of Police, CP Abimbola Olubenga, urged journalists to report security incidents without inflaming tensions. He advised reporters to apply the stop, check, report principle. Stop before publishing sensational claims, check fast through credible sources, and report verified information fairly and without inflammatory language. The police commissioner stressed that the police and media are not adversaries, but partners with a shared responsibility to protect the public interest, promote peace, and build confidence in democratic institutions.
For future elections, I urge journalists to remain committed to accuracy, fairness, independence, professionalism, and conflict-sensitive reporting. Let us ensure that in our effort to report the truth, we do not unintentionally become participants in conflict we are reporting.
In his paper, former NUJ President and Public Affairs Analyst Lanre Ogundipe, represented by the head Department of Mass Communication, Adeseun Ogudoyin Polytechnic, Irua, Dr. Olumide Adediji, described journalism as a constitutional responsibility and a public trust. He urged journalists never to allow speed, popularity, or personal conviction to undermine accuracy and professional judgment. He described the journalist as a constitutional sentinel who watches over the exercise of public power, records of history, and defends informed citizenship.
Without bias, and we must note that we must not favor a particular political party. When we do that, we must realize that we are dating the death of our media.
Earlier in her welcome remarks, the chairperson of NUJ Tribune Chapel, Bumi Ishola, said the sensitization was designed to prepare journalists for the enormous responsibility of election reporting ahead of 2027. She urged practitioners to resist publishing information simply because it is trending or favors a political interest, stressing that truth and public interest must remain the media's first responsibility. The program, graced by the leadership of NUJ in Oyo State, led by the chairman, Comrade Akim Abbas, ended with the presentation of recognition plaques to the invited speakers and featured an interactive session wherein participants had an opportunity to engage the speakers on election security, misinformation, and professional standards in election reporting. Adebayo Abdurrafi, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. Oyo State Acting Governor Barrister Bayo Lawal has called for the enactment and effective implementation of laws that protect the rights and welfare of children who act against the law, particularly those who commit offences out of ignorance. Barrister Lawal made a call while speaking at an inaugural lecture titled Children in the Cage, Justice on Trial, delivered by Professor Mariam Abdurrahim Mustafa of the Department of Public Law, University of Ilorin. Details are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent, Olalikan Suleiman.
The Oyo State Acting Governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, was among dignitaries who attended the 305th inaugural lecture of the University of Ilorin, delivered by Professor Mariam Abdurrahim Mustafa of Department of Public Law. The lecture held at the University Auditorium was titled Children in the Cage, Justice on Trial. Speaking with BCOS News shortly after the event, Barrister Lawal stressed the need for a justice system that does not merely punish children for their actions but also protect their welfare, rehabilitate them, and provide them with opportunities to become responsible members of the society. He commended Professor Abdurrahim Mustafa for the depth of her presentation, describing the lecture as relevant to the protection and rehabilitation of children who come into conflict with the law.
There's a gap between welfare of children and where the law places them. And this lecture, attempts to close that gap in the sense that we must not look at deficiencies of children only by what the law prescribes, but what we should do to enhance good living of our children by providing law that will protect their welfare, even where they probably go wrong. The law should direct positively so that they will live a meaningful life.
The acting governor also urged her to further strengthen a foundation dedicated to caring for vulnerable children, saying such effort will help them overcome their challenges and live meaningful lives despite their shortcomings or conflicts with the law.
She has founded a foundation taking care of children and vulnerable children at that. So she can only pursue along that trajectory so that our children would have meaningful life in spite of a deficiency in the law. That will complement positively so that the living standard of our children, both in law and social living, will be better.
Earlier in our lecture, Professor Miriam Abdurrahim Mustafa stressed that children who came into conflict with law should be held accountable in a manner that recognizes their vulnerability, developmental stage, and need for protection, rather than being subjected to the same justice system designed for adults.
No child should be detained with adults. Birth registration and reliable age determination must become justice priorities. Schools, religious bodies, traditional institutions, NGOs, and professional associations should place local protection and reintegration networks. Nigeria should establish a national child justice database, tracking arrest, detention, diversion, trial delay, release, and reoffending.
She, however, called for a uniform and child-centered justice system across Nigeria, with the Child Rights Act harmonized and minimum protections guaranteed in every state. On the entourage of the acting governor were the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Oluyole Ajetumobi, Commissioner for Trade, Industry, Investment and Cooperatives, Professor Saliu Adelabu, Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Alhaja Fausat Jokesani. Also present was Alepata of Igbo Land, Oba Joel Olawuwo Olalekan Sulaiman. BSOS News.
The Nigeria Police Force, Oluyole State Command, has lauded the state government for its generous assistance to the command in its efforts at combating crime. The Public Relations Officer of the State Police Command, DSP Oluyole, gave the commendation while answering questions on the BCOS Yoruba Current Affairs Program, Oluyole. BCOS reporter Bode Akinjola compiled excerpts from the live radio network program. His report is presented by Bimbo Akambi.
The Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Oluyole, addressed the matter of insecurity and pockets of crime in Oyo State, and it took the center stage on the BCOS Current Affairs Live Radio Network program, Oluyole. Featuring on the program, the State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Oluyole, stated that gone were the days that the identity of whistleblowers would be compromised. DSP Oluyole added that adequate and prompt information remains key to safeguarding the society.
The relationship between the Oyo State Police Command and the good people of Oyo State is now at its best. So that in itself is responsible for the successes we've recorded in the past few months. In blowing the whistle, it is a civic responsibility of a citizen to say things that can help in ensuring safety of lives and property. And I will tell you, anybody that is willing to give information, the Nigerian Police Force, Oyo State Police Command, is willing and will forever be grateful and to, of course, to protect such individual in ensuring that the identity is kept safe and their safeties.
On the collaboration with the Oyo State government, the state police spokesman said the Seyi Makinde-led administration has supported the command with logistics such as utility vehicles and motorbikes, which has made it easy to get to the hinterlands to smoke out criminals from their hideouts throughout the state. Speaking on the de-escalation of crime rates in the state, DSP Oluyole said the new Commissioner of Police, CP Ayodeji Olugbenga Bimbola, has zero tolerance for crime.
Nigerian Police Force, Oyo State Police Command, through credible intelligence, we've been able to apprehend some very highly notorious suspects, armed robbery suspects, some of them have been in the business of robbing unsuspecting member of the public. Like the two other young men that were paraded a few days ago, the investigation revealed that they've robbed or collected not less than 86 motorcycles, amounting to over 34 million naira. Another suspect were paraded who are also in the business of robbing unsuspecting Nigerians of their vehicles and their valuables. Cases like that. In recent times, arrests have been made of about 9 individuals who were fond of, who were part of ritual syndicates, perpetrating, using human parts to carry out whatsoever rituals they are doing. So, all these successes are part and parcel of the collaborative effort of this command and the good people of Oyo State.
The PPRO called on the people of Oyo State to have confidence in the police and give information that can help them function optimally. He urged communities to prioritize and strengthen early warning signals in addressing all manner of insecurity. The police is still saying, when you see something, say something to the police and other security agencies.
In the world of sport, the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has set up a fact-finding committee to investigate the country's recent struggles in international football, with particular attention on the Super Falcons' failure to qualify for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. The decision follows Nigeria's disappointing campaign at the ongoing Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco, where the Super Falcons were eliminated in the quarterfinals before suffering a 2-1 defeat to South Africa in the playoff for a place in the Interconfederation playoffs. The defeat means Nigeria will miss the 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil, bringing an end to the Super Falcons' record of appearing at every edition of the tournament since its inaugural staging in 1991. The NFF said the committee would examine the setback suffered by the national teams and make recommendations aimed at preventing a repeat of such failures. Ambassador Fani Amon, MON, will chair the committee, while former Nigeria international Ladan Boso, Desire Okparanozie, and Mutiu Adepoju alongside Dr. Alex Mana will serve as members.
On the foreign scene, at least 7 workers have been killed and 13 others injured after a tunnel accident at a construction site in northern India. According to local officials, water and debris burst into the tunnel, part of a state-run hydropower project in India's northern hill state of Uttarakhand, late on Thursday, following a landslide that trapped the construction workers. Chief Minister of Uttarakhand State, Pushkar Singh Dhami, said a warlike rescue operation was underway to pull out workers still stuck in the tunnel. India's State Disaster Management Authority said 3 workers remain missing.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The Security and Exchange Commission (SEC) has directed capital market operators to freeze the funds, assets and other economic resources belonging to 6 individuals and 3 entities designated as terrorist financiers by the Nigeria Sanctions Committee (NSC).
Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has said an independent commission of inquiry will be constituted after the August 15 governorship election to investigate reported cases of extrajudicial killings and other acts of violence recorded during the election period.
Oyo State Acting Governor Barrister Bayo Lawal has called for the enactment and effective implementation of laws that protect the rights and welfare of children who act against the law, particularly those who commit offences out of ignorance.
On the foreign scene, at least 7 workers have been killed and 13 others injured after a tunnel accident at a construction site in northern India.
If you see something suspicious, alert the authorities immediately for timely response. Be vigilant. That's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Ajedoyin Oluyole and delivered by
Idowu Shekoni
and Oluwagbemiga Olabisi. Thanks for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
àmì òjijì rédíò tí ó láfiwé Olúyọ̀lé FM àwa ni bàbá.
TS Charity ẹ̀yìn tí wà ní BCOS ṣe ti gbọ́ pé BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV ṣe ti rí pé no be play play na be reality confam ní ẹ ṣàmà wà kárí ayé o BCOS to the world BCOS ilé akéde. ẹ̀yìn tí wà lÓlúyọ̀lé FM ṣe ti gbọ́ pé a ti wà lórí radio box ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ kẹ́ máa gbọ́ wa kedere ó kilẹ̀ létí ó milẹ̀ létí Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 Olúyọ̀lé lórí radio box app. ẹ̀yin tí wà ní BCOS ṣe ti gbọ́ pé BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV ṣe ti rí pé no be play play na reality confam ní ẹ ṣá máa wò wá kárí ayé o BCOS to the world BCOS ilé akéde. BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app lórí àtẹ ìkànnì ayélujára Naija TV ẹ̀ka tó ń pawó wọlé commercial department ti BCOS ilé akéde ló ní ká sọ fún gbogbo wa pé láti túbọ̀ máa jẹ̀gbádùn àwọn ètò ọlọ́kanjọ̀kan wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ ìwọ sá ti lọ sórí Google Play Store tàbí lórí Apple Store kó o download Naija TV app NAIJA kó o wá fi space kan sílẹ̀ kó o tẹ TV ló bá tán. bákan náà lórí ìkànnì Olúyọ̀lé 98.5 FM ẹ lè máa gbọ́ wa ketekete lórí radio box app kò le rárá láti lò lórí Play Store rẹ tàbí lórí Apple Store ìwọ sá ti tẹ radio box kó o sì dáńlódù radio box app sórí fóònù rẹ ló bá tán kó o bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jẹ̀gbádùn àwọn ètò wa ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan lórí Olúyọ̀lé 98.5 FM kó o sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jẹ̀gbádùn ayé díjítà nípa wíwo BCOS ilé akéde lórí Naija TV níbikíbi tó o bá wà lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára kárí ayé.
Ọláfìjàbí ṣó tún dé. Mr Fàájì Unlimited tún gbé tuntun dé lórí ìkànnì alárààgbàyídá Olúyọ̀lé 98.5 FM Ìbàdàn ní fàájì ló ń jẹ́. ẹ ti ń pòǹgbẹ ẹ̀ tipẹ́ torí pé ẹ máa ń gbádùn Ọláfìjàbí kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀. ọlá ọmọ Fìjàbí tún ti wá dira ètò báyìí The Fìjàbọ̀n pẹ̀lú ní fàájì tí ó máa gorí afẹ́fẹ́ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Friday látago 7 àṣálẹ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ orin àtìlù tó jẹ́ tìgbàlódé pẹ̀lú àwọn orin àtijọ́ tí mú ní ṣèrántí ìpilẹ̀ṣẹ̀ The Golden Oldies. ẹ sì tún máa gbádùn ọ̀rọ̀ àgbà ìmọ̀ràn ẹ̀fẹ̀ pẹ̀lú gbogbo kọ̀kọ̀ndọ́sì fàájì òpin ọ̀sẹ̀ lálálẹ́ Friday ó ti máa lékè nkà kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ ní fàájì pẹ̀lú Ọláfìjàbí The Fìjàbọ̀n.